My friend, if it doesn't happen, it was not meant to happen. ¿Qué tal, mis amores? Welcome back to the channel. No, it's not in Spanish, this video at least, don't worry. Today, as you can see, we have a new setup. It's a little bit different than the usual background, like, my bed and all that. Today, we have my couch. Just because I wanted to show how beautiful I have this couch. It was expensive. Today, I wanted to bring up something more casual, more chill, more. And this is going to help you a lot in how to set your goals for 2024. I know we've been already through this a lot of time. Viola. No, you don't need that. No. If anything, something that I really struggled back in high school was with actually making my goals for the next year possible. What I mean is that I used to like write down everything I wanted to do, and at the end of the year, I never done anything. Of course, there was a solution for all of this, so this is what I'm bringing y'all today. I want to share a little story time of how I ended up making my goals, my resolutions happen, actually, like make them possible for the year. And everything started back in 2020, I believe, like 4 years ago, right when I was about to start college. So this was me thinking this is gonna happen. And of course, I'm Latino Americana, but I gotta be honest with y'all, it was really bad the first year of college until the point that I actually failed one class. And I'm talking about this is basic, básico. This is low of the low. The next year comes, and here I am. I'm like, this time I want everything to be done. So by 2022, yes, 2 years ago, I decided to not only write down all the wishes and all the things I want to make true, but also making them happen in a timeline. And I always work with timelines. And if you have seen my previous videos, you know that everything I do it in between timelines. Why? Timelines is the easiest way to make everything achievable. And tip number one is going to be stop thinking about what you need to do. A lot of people just get stuck in this phase of what, like, they just like sit down and they're like, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to do this and that, but they never done it. Like they never finish doing anything at the end of the day. Like they don't do anything. Even though their bodies know like they have to do it, they don't do it. Sometimes all we need to do is just take the extra step, you know what I mean? Just take the extra bite right there of the cake. Even though that means you're gonna get fat. Don't worry. It's extra love. Setting goals for every year is something I like to do, and this is when I jump in with my beautiful journal because I started journaling probably seriously this year. No, wait, last year, at the end of very last year. I started seriously taking like accountability of everything I think and everything I want to do. Keep in mind that sometimes like we do have to be realistic, and probably we're not going to be able to make everything that we want to do by the end of the year, but just the fact of having like half of them done, that's already a big step. First of all, you're going to need a journal. If you're not that type of person to write down because X or Y, I would recommend just to have a small agenda where you write down things that you want to do. For example, it doesn't show writing here, but it says fun things to do for 2024. You gotta set up your goals, which not only make you feel like you have to do them, but because you want to do them. You know what I mean? Don't forget about the enjoyable part of setting goals. Setting goals is not something that is gonna make you overcome a failure, make you overcome a fear, make you overcome somebody else, something else in life, but actually enjoying life. Sometimes a lot of us we forget that setting goals is not always about things that we want to achieve and that are, financially right. And just that there is a page for all the things you want to do for this year. There also is going to be a page of things that you want to get rid of for this year. For example, you maybe want to get rid of some friendships that they don't add anything in your life anymore. Maybe you want to get rid of an old car that you've been having for more than 3 years and you need a update, or probably you need to fix it or something. Maybe you want to get rid even about like some clothing, what you wear also tell a lot about you. As you guys can see, I have a page full right here of things I want to let go. And of course, the title of that page is what I'm focusing on this year. For me, this 2024 is actually all about nourishing my spirit. Basically, nutrition to my spirit. Everything that can not only heal it, but can provide uh, food, supply, and happiness, basically. For example, for me, how I'm going to nourish my spirit will be reading about, improvement, reading with the Bible, taking time in silence and not hearing others' opinion, because I do actually take everything personal, just in case you haven't noticed. And of course, something that we have to keep in mind is that we are not in control of everything that happens in our life. Just in case that's not clear, every time you write one of these pages with things that you want to do and things that you got to get rid of in the title of your year, you also got to keep in mind that, as you cannot control time, you cannot control everything or people around you, but at least you can control your own decisions and the steps that you made. I will recommend, highly recommend, to actually start applying the law of detachment. If you haven't heard about that, I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in another video because it's really useful. But basically, start detaching from things, as I mentioned before, that doesn't add anything else in your life. For example, for me, will be distractions, focusing on other people. I believe that, when you're a people pleaser, just like me, we like to always focus on other people before focusing on ourselves. And we start to forgetting about prioritizing ourselves more, which is honestly not good. So I do recommend, if that's one of your goals, to detach for this year is good. Now, the next step, I know it takes multiple steps, but basically, this is only the second step, which is all about journaling and writing down things. Why you need to write down things? Because it's scientifically proved that when you write things down, you make them happen actually. Or when, the way you talk also can influence a lot on how your energy and all your things go around yourself. So I do recommend changing the way you talk, changing your mindset, as well as start writing. If you haven't checked my previous videos, I would recommend to go back and check on that because it's gonna be amazing. The third page that you can add to it, it will be compromises to yourself. Basically, things that you want to make happen to yourself. Before focusing on things that you want to do, make done by the end of the year, and things that you gotta get rid of it, it's also important to make compromises and promises to yourself. For example, stop hurting yourself, stop having overthink like stop overthinking about the pressing stuff. And honestly, when you start compromising yourself to yourself, it makes a whole different change for your goals, and I promise you that. So, for example, I put trust myself even more, prioritize and focus, keep it easy, because I sometimes, most of the time, I actually forget I'm a human being and I put a lot of stress on me. And if you haven't know about that, I actually went through a stress wave last month on February. It was bad. This is why I like to write things down, and then, when I forget about them, go back to this little page and just remind myself, hey, you know what, lately you haven't been going easy on yourself, why don't we take this more slow? You can also put be resilient, be gentle with yourself, trust my gut feeling, because a lot of us don't trust our gut feeling. Respect my new boundaries. If you have created a new boundary in yourself that you don't want people overstepping on it, I will highly recommend to start actually letting people know, I have these boundaries. And it's so good to have boundaries, because once you have boundaries and limitations, people start respecting you more and treating you in a different way. You can also write about other specific stuff, such as your financial, your expenses. This is something, if you want to be more in detail, I do have that. You can also talk about your physical, social media, healthy, and spiritual. I feel like when I write down things like these, you're gonna find it really at the bottom. It just helped me like to keep my mind focused. Let's review what we have so far. First step is stop overthinking. All right, stop thinking about what you need to do, how you're gonna do it, when or how. Just start doing it. Okay, the second step is to start journaling or writing down things. The first page is going to have all the things that you want to accomplish by the end of the year. The second page, of course, is going to have everything that you want to detach for the end of the year, everything and everyone. The third page is going to start with compromise, like promises to yourself. It's going to start with promises that you want to make to yourself, compromises to yourself, all that can heal you and that can bring you positive energy. Lastly, but not least, start knowing yourself. I feel like a lot of people, whenever they jump to do, the goal setting and all this, they forget that every year we kind of change. By the end of every year, we come to a new realization. We are another kind of person, and we forget to know that version, that new version of us. Start knowing, start meeting again yourself. You gotta go on dates with yourself. I know this sounds really weird, but if you don't know yourself, who else is gonna know you better than yourself? So something that I do every December, January, around that time, is that I like to write things about myself, and things that I change, things that are the same. It's just something that helped me clear out who I am by the end of every year. I have dedicated a full 2 pages of myself, basically. The way I set up goals every year change. I want to apologize because I ran out of battery at this point, but this will be everything for today. And don't wonder about my hair right now. I'm doing my routine, so don't worry about that. I'll see you guys on the next video, all right? Adios.